Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's great to have you guys along. I got some leftovers from the stack of stuff this morning that I wanted to share with you. This piece about Mike Pence. Mike Pence is out there, and he was on, I think this was on one of the Sunday shows. So he's talking about Trump, Donald Trump, and how Donald Trump hasn't changed the party. And I found this pretty crazy. I'm going to share this. It's a couple of minutes long. We'll see how much of it I share, because the hot spot is in here pretty quickly. So I want to share this video. Here you go.
I think President Trump, as president should, has changed aspects of the agenda of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's changed the Republican Party. I've been traveling around this country over the last 4 years, speaking with everyday Americans.
He's tuned in
to my own campaign for president.
He's tuned in to you.
And what I've heard again and again is the deep commitment that Republican voters have to a strong national defense, American leadership in the world, fiscal responsibility, pro-growth policies, the right to life. And
a lot of those things, I absolutely agree with him. But he's saying that Donald Trump hasn't changed the party. What do you say? What do you say? I would love to see your comments and your thoughts on this. Has Donald Trump changed the Republican Party? I don't think there's any question he has. In fact, I can't really remember, I wish I had clearer memories of when Ronald Reagan was president. I can't think of anybody since Reagan who has had the kind of impact on the Republican Party that Donald Trump has brought. It's just absolutely incredible. But he hasn't. Mike Pence is still out there being the wet blanket. That guy, some of these folks, they just never learned when to stop, when it's time to quit. Okay. Mark Cuban is out there responding to, this is the guy who wants to be mayor in New York City, Zoran Mamdani. And he's talking about freezing rent, making groceries cheap. And so apparently, I've not had a chance to read this yet. Let's take a look. Cuban is saying none of that crap has a chance. We're cutting rents, right? We're changing grocery stores. None of that crap has a chance. Doesn't matter. He was on Pod Save America talking about this. The guy is walking in telling me he's going to walk on water. He's going to make me more money. He's going to save me money. He's going to make my life better. See, he doesn't believe it. He said that. I knew it was coming. Here comes the Trump bashing. That tactic is Trump 101. Is it true? Does it matter? Until we see actual process and plans to actually implement a promise, I look at his and all campaign promises as nothing more than promises. Yeah, it's so even Mark Cuban's not buying it, leftist that Mark Cuban is Even he is not buying what Zoran Mamdani is. I trip on his last name every time. I apologize. Even he doesn't believe in what he's saying. Now, speaking of Mamdani, you see now Minneapolis has got a mayoral candidate in the same kind of vein. And I'm going to show you, this is his, it posted this video. And before I roll it, I'm going to apologize for the video, because for the audio. His voice is only in one channel. In the other channel is music underneath, and it is incredibly distracting. But you will get the message. Here it is.
Everyone keeps asking me.
What? Sorry. I just wanted to expand that. Here we go. Let's do it again. Tuition free. Still white. Oh, yeah, we're going to increase the minimum wage. This is just absolutely crazy. I mean, the number of candidates who are out there and mentioning Trump in one way or another, either negatively or positively. What do you think of that? Seriously, I would love to see your comments on it. What do you think of it? The folks who are out there now, you're running for a statewide or a local office, and you're out there talking about Donald Trump. I just don't get it. And I don't care where you stand on Trump. I really don't. That whether you hate him, whether you love him, but the number of people, you can't tell me that Trump doesn't have this incredible impact on politics throughout the country. When you see it in statewide and local races like that, it's just absolutely crazy. That's not what but I thought you might get a kick out of that. The Minneapolis mayoral candidate, and he's out there and taking a page then for the, from the candidate who's running for mayor of New York City. And it's just a little bit much. Things are crazy out there, my friends. More and more. Speaking of crazy, you might be thinking of Bette Midler. Bette Midler unhinged. She's going after Trump also. So what was she ranting about? Trump is investigating whether Joe Biden was incapacitated when he signed clemency orders with an auto pen and pardoned many before he left office. Trump has a lot of gall, seeing as how he is mentally unfit to serve, who threatens an entertainer with loss of citizenship because he doesn't like the way she speaks of him, talking about Rosie O'Donnell Trump. I don't think that's something Trump was ever actually going to follow through on. That's just Trump being Trump. And every time Trump is Trump, the left melts down. They just go nuts. So here's Bette Midler, who sends troops in to gas their own citizens and drag them to gulags. What in the fresh hell is she talking about? These people are nuts. What president of the U.S. has ever sold crummy made in China merch? Or no, she's talking about Trump. and the merchandise that he's selling on his website, repeating the lie that it's not made in America. It is made in America. It's made in America. But the left repeats that, and you see this again. And you get, folks like Bette Midler who are up and regurgitating those same lies because they don't know any better or they don't care. Just is crazy. Crypto watches or shitty phones. The list goes on. He has soiled and stained the office of what was formerly the greatest country in the world. Yeah, the greatest country in the world. No thanks to Joe Biden. I might add, no thanks to Joe Biden. There's it's a little bit more I'll share with you here this morning. This caught my eye. Sorry, I'm looking at another story here. We'll get to that in a moment. 4 days to defund NPR and PBS. The president had, in his rescissions package, had cut $9.4 billion, most of the funds coming from USAID and the remainder from PBS and NPR. It has to pass by Friday. It has to pass Congress by Friday. Otherwise, PBS and NPR will have their money. So whether or not that package passes, I've got to believe, just based on the big, beautiful bill, some of the other things that we have seen, like everything else, it comes down to the last minute, and we'll see. But it has to pass by Friday. If it does, it'll mean cutting $9.4 billion from the federal budget, with most of those funds coming from USAID, the remainder from PBS and NPR. How is that? And now you've got Republicans, and maybe you've seen the stories, Republican, both representatives and senators, who were out there making the argument in favor of PBS and NPR, and saying, oh, and some of our poorer communities, this is all they can get. Really, I'm sure they're absolutely tuned into what's going on on those outlets. Who are we fooling with this? It's just so absolutely incredible. Why are we messing around with this? Why is this so difficult to do? It's just amazing. And what it goes to show is you've got to be careful about programs that you think, okay, I love spending money on this, or I love spending money on that. Because once you start doing it, you can't stop. I think that, to me at least, and I believed that for a long time, but never like I believe it now, that once you get governments that are, and South Dakota is no different, and you're hearing people in South Dakota right now who are talking about, we were promised this money. And I mean, if you listen to Tom Rooney's news this morning during my show, you heard those, and some of those cuts, I'm telling you, absolutely make me cringe. What about people and organizations and governments becoming self-sufficient? I understand that governments are going to have to rely on taxpayer dollars. Yeah, that's not lost on me. I'm not one who says, oh, don't pay taxes, don't pay any tax. No, I pay my taxes, and I do so gladly. There are government services. I like having streets. I love, public amenities. There are a lot of things that I appreciate. But the federal government funding of those things, I think, has made a lot of our local officials lazy. It's tough work. It's tough work. I seriously, I don't wish to be them. It's a tough job. I think we've had a lot of great people who have run for office. But this idea that the federal government's got to fund all of these things, and that is, I don't know if we can ever now, because it's become so entrenched and such a part of our lives. I don't know that you'll ever be able to break that addiction, and with that, comes, you start making people reliant, they expect it, and then once they do and the government's in charge, it's just an ugly scenario, I think. And PBS, NPR, and when I hear Republicans out there, saying how this is the only information that's getting out to some of these, less served communities, don't buy that. Don't buy it for a minute. I mean, I do not believe that is true. Not at all. And I have long been a proponent of ending federal funding I think PBS, NPR, they ought to exist in the marketplace just like my company does. My company, the company I work for, just like the company I work for does, just like other companies do. Your company, generally, you don't see companies that, have government funding. I'm just not a supporter of it. And I think I'm hoping that we're going to see that happen. That would be, and I was talking about this a little bit on the air this morning, the number of things that we have seen occur already during this second term of Donald Trump's. It's just been absolutely remarkable. The border. There's some stories out there this morning regarding now that inflation starting to tick up because of the the tariffs. Sorry, the word was there and gone, and it happens to me more and more as I get older. The tariffs, because of the tariffs, inflation starting to tick up a little bit. I likely will have that story for you tomorrow. We'll see where it goes. One other thing that I wanted to share with you this morning. Now, because of Donald Trump, free snacks at the office could get scrapped thanks to the Trump tax law. So starting January 1st, U.S. companies will no longer be able to deduct the cost of snacks, coffee, or on-site lunches provided to employees. So there you go. That was part of the big, beautiful bill. No more. Employers can no longer deduct the cost of snacks and coffee. And so if you see those things coming to an abrupt end in your workplace, that will likely be the reason why. That's it. You made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Thank you so much for being here. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade, those who are here each and every day, commenting, sharing their thoughts. As I love engaging with all of you. So thanks so much for being here. Until tomorrow, my friend. I'm underground and gone.